Hello and welcome to the PvE-Gamer. Season 1 of the Community League for Skytier Horde is in full swing, and it's all centered around this castle, the Gaping Maw. When you exhaust the Gaping Maw and pay 1 mana, you choose one, you remove up to 2 damage from the castle, remove up to 1 damage from an ally, or you draw a card. And when you build around this castle, you have certain options. You can play legendary cards in Liothan, you can play mythic cards of Liothan with a maximum of 6, you can play rare cards from Liothan and Tarlot, and you can play base cards from Liothan, Tarlot and Nupten. So we are going to take a swing at another support deck. We already discussed the support deck on this channel, but as it is always a great thing to bring new players into this game, especially if you are playing in the current league for season 1 and you want to claim some of these achievements, I'm going to show you a deck that I've been using to great effect with someone who isn't that much into deck building and just likes to pick up and play. So what I did was I was using Liothan, Tarlot and Nupten cards for the Gaping Maw and just left everything in red, so for Kurumo, for my pal to pick up and play. He didn't have to deck build anything and we just were able to have a go. As always with a support deck, we are trying to give our pals the greatest time of their lives, so they come back and help us defending our lands against the incoming horde. So we have a classic support deck. So let's take a look at what is in this Gaping Maw deck. First of all, we have what I call the standard Nupten package. We have the Restless Phalanx, which is just such a great value for your mana. You pay to get a 3/1 ally that also rebuilds 1 card on the fight ability. So this can trade very well with a lot of creatures incoming from the portal, as well as minions which got buffed from the initial 1 or 2 life. So great value for mana there. Usually you trade it 1 for 1 and have a rebuild 1 in the process. Really useful. Then again, we have Bearing the Way, just because it replaces itself and gives 1 or 2 allies +1 armor. This allows us to make better trades with the added benefit of being played in the fight phase, so we can react to any shenanigans or surprises the horde throws at us. Shadow of Death, not that good in regards to reacting to instants, because you cannot play it in the fight phase, you have to play it in the alliance phase, but it gives -2 attack to a monster that we already see on the board, and you draw a card in the process, so both cards replace themselves effectively for 1 mana and have utility to give you favorable trades. This is usually a very nice thing. And lastly, we have Psychic Shield. Psychic Shield gives an ally +2 armor, can also be played in the as reaction on anything that the horde gets as buffs in the fight phase. And we also rebuild for 1, so we usually use those 2 rebuild abilities from Nupten to get some key cards back, key heroes or anything else that has been pillaged in the first round where we didn't have full control of the board yet. Everything you saw is available in the common slot. This is so awesome because actually if you have the option to go into Nupten with common cards, there's little reason not to play these 4 cards that we saw. Perhaps you're going to leave the ally out because you have better options, but those 3 spells are usually great options for your deck. So in Liothan, the main color we play, we have cards that buff our allies. So we have Bloodlust, which can be played during the fight phase. Combat Trick gives us +2 attack and +1 armor, especially great for dealing these last missing damage points to a final boss or outsider when it is needed, or a big threat that has been revealed at the start of the turn. And Speak with the Spirits, it's not that good, as good as in a Nupten deck where we can recycle the spell, but also only seeing the spell once is already great for 2 mana. You have a plethora of options, and you can choose 2, and you can choose those 2 options as an instant in the fight phase. So very, very flexible cards, very great options for your deck. Those are available in common and respectively uncommon. In blue we don't care, we can play everything. We have the Gaping Maw, so this is our main color. Then we have our classic mana producers and mana enablers. Don't forget, mana that you produce can be awarded to yourself or also to your pal, so you can buff your pals out of mana problems and your allies if they are lacking some mana. Skyteam Mine is just a boost for a card, and also rebuilds the allies and the castle, so very flexible here. We have the Shamans. Usually you want to sacrifice one of your slots on the board to have 1 additional mana each turn, which comes in handy. And we have Clan of the Elk, which also are there as mana producers. Usually you don't want more than a maximum of 2 mana producers on the board in order not to clog up your play area, but it is seldom the case that you have more available. There are a total of 2 Clan of the Elk in your deck and 3 Shamans. Usually you will, especially with a mulligan, not draw into multiples. Being in blue, we also have 2 heroes that we play. You might recognize we are not playing any rare card, any mythic cards. They just don't fit into this fast style support deck, so I left them out. We have Gulbjarn here and Korjov. Korjov is a hero you want to play for utility, because for the remainder of the turn a non-outsider monster loses all abilities. This is a very, very strong ability. Imagine you get a Lady of the Lake which pulls all minions into the lane, and you can prevent that with Korjov or other things that are really problematic. At least you will be able to negate something like Taunt for a round, and that is really nice. The other ability also shines because before the fight phase actually happens, you can cause an ally and a monster engaged with them to strike each other, as you can switch up lanes, pull minions as you like. This is very, very, very strong, because effectively if you don't have any towers out, you can trade allies for monsters very easily. Gulbjarn is played in this deck on the one hand because he's great for bigger monsters and he can deal splash damage. So if you play with Kurumu and he gets equipped with a Naginata or something, you have 7 damage that you can distribute, or you have a Bloodlust on top, so you might go as high as 9. And also we are having 1 extra achievement in this season, the 1 Bear Army, so you can opt to start with Gulbjarn in hand and then keep him until you face the final phase of the outsider to gain the achievement where Gulbjarn is required to strike down the outsider and also his left and right neighbor at once. But mind that this can only be achieved in the round you play him, because it is the play ability. That's it for Liothan. Then we have Taulot. For Taulot we are using very effective creatures. In my opinion, the 2 most effective creatures that Taulot has, the Kenobi Hunters. You can trade on turn 1. You can pull a 1/1 minion, then have this Kenobi Hunters destroyed, and then use the Gorilla to kill one of the other minions. So it's a 2-for-1 card advantage right out of the gate. This is a great card, especially if you have it in your starting hand. And the Underwood Dryad is in almost every deck I can play it, because it is just so flexible. With Mutaform 2 it can become a 3/2 or also 1/4, which could pull 2 or 3 1/1 minions in a row. so also a great and flexible option. Death Grasp has been deemed one of the most effective spells in the game, if not the best card in the game. I do not agree that it is the best card in the game, but someone claimed in the Sky Tier channel that this is the best card in the game, but I'm inclined to agree that it is one of the best cards in the game. You can play it as an instant in the fight phase, and the monster in a lane gains -2 attack and -2 health for the remainder of the turn. This circumvents armor, so if you have a 2/2 body with 2 armor, the armor will just be wasted because they will lose 2 health and go down. Death Grasp is a great spell at 2 mana. And you might be surprised, I'm even playing pillars in this. I'm generally not a fan of towers, except Starpiercer, which is awesome. But the Guard Pillar and the Stone Pillar have a very good place in this deck. The Guard Pillar allows you, after an ally is destroyed, to put that card beneath Guard Pillar, and when Guard Pillar has 3 or more allies beneath it, it can be destroyed and you can return all cards beneath it to their owner's hand. So that's 3 cards back for the cost of 1 card if you have the slot available. And you're playing with Kurumo, so they have very small critters which get equipped and then try to beat down the opponents. They die a lot, so getting 3 of those back is really, really great and a good experience for the person you're playing with. And the Stone Pillar is just awesome because it just can distribute a -1 health counter and a -1 attack counter to other creatures. What you can do in most cases is just pull a minion that has 1 health and then remove its health to draw a card, and you can do that 2 times. Or you can remove the attack of an enemy. For example, the Golem might come into mind, which is a 1 and 10, so you might nibble a bit on getting his health down, and if the Golem just has 1 health attack less, which makes it 0 attack, this is a much easier task. Well, that's it for our support deck for the Gaping Maw. I hope you have a lot of fun in this season, and this will empower you to bring some new people into Sky Tier Horde and gain achievements in the process.